stands upon the shoulders of every religion, science, and philosophy that came before it, who, since time immemorial, have all been striving towards the same goal: flawless application and dissemination of Scientology technology. Likewise, Scientology's 24-hour cable channel stands upon the shoulder of every 24-hour cable channel that came before it, who, since time immemorial, have all been striving towards the same goal: flawless application and dissemination of Scientology technology. Not only does Scientology have the tools to adapt to a changing world, Scientology has the tools to adapt dozens of sitcoms, screenplays, and novels in a converted warehouse staffed round the clock with 100 Sea Org cadets newly hatted in Aristotelian plot structure at an undisclosed location in the San Jacinto Mountains. It is without further ado that I introduce Scientology Television's inaugural season lineup. To be or not to be is no longer the question on William Shakespeare's Total Certainty Rundown. Couple Shakespeare's classics with L. Ron Hubbard's advancements in the tech, and witness a Hamlet achieving his full spiritual potential in what was ultimately just another play about body thetans. To be, that is total certainty. Orange is the new black is an aberrated statement spreading false data. On Orange is Orange, restoring sanity in the prison system with Scientology. That jail is up and running with Narconon and Criminon before the year's end. Alex Voss and Piper Chapman clear up their past life gender confusion with Dianetics auditing and complete the problems of marriage course with their boyfriends. More than ever, Scientology is poised to deliver the tech to a changing political landscape. On Squirrel Busters, the next generation, Scientology critics receive proper ethics cycles with more malware, private investigators, and forged bomb threats than ever before, making the world a safer place for religious freedom and millennials alike. Don't have cable? Not to worry. At a moment of pivotal economic scarcity and record low movie sales, Scientology's orgs strategically placed all across the globe boast dozens of fully equipped audio-visual facilities that are open to the public free of charge. Perhaps Scientology Television's greatest advancement is that artists will no longer have to choose between their craft and the tech. I am pleased to announce that all volunteer ministers in good standing will have the opportunity to audition for this week's hour-long utopian victory, The Handmaid's Dianetics.
There is a house in New Handmaid. They call the handmaid's son. It's pure the blessing of many a handmaid. God, I know I'm one. My mother was a handmaid. She sewed my handmaid jeans. My father was a handmaid down in handmaid leaves. The only thing a handmaid needs is to be a handmaid. And the only time she's satisfied is when she's a handmaid. Mother, tell your handmaids to do what I have done. Spend your days as handmaids in the house of the handmaid's son. One foot on the handmaid, the other foot on the train. I'm going back to New Handmaid to be the best handmaid. There is a house in New Handmaid they call the handmaid's son. It's been the blessing of many a handmaid, and God, I know I'm one.
Well, throughout my 20s, I partook of the heterosexual lifestyle. I sang Son of a Preacher Man at karaoke with the best of them. Even once enjoying a sandwich from Chick-fil-A. Then last year, I fell in love with someone of the same sex. And suddenly I found myself recoiling from my boyfriend's touch and getting depressed whenever I spotted an attractive woman on the subway who wound up just being a 17-year-old boy with an alternative lifestyle haircut. I had no choice but to see this for what it was. A sign from God that I'm intended to love women. My straight phase was probably influenced by my relationship with Dad, which was amazing. I felt a natural kinship with boys, given how our culture sexualizes guy on girl. The next logical step when I came of age was just romance. I mean, what could be more comfortable than dating your BFF? And then in college, I just, loved that attention I got from being just straight, which was kind of different at my liberal East Coast university. While everybody else did the sexual awakening and cocaine and stuff that was expected of us, I had to rebel and create a controversy by signing up to volunteer at the homophobic cult Dad joined when I was 10. As a sensitive prepubescent, I'd internalized their doctrine that everybody is just naturally heterosexual.
reflexively just dismissing my homoerotic tendencies long into adulthood as a straight thing, you know. I don't think anybody's bougie ass story about some acid fueled orgy with their Yates seminar over winter break could compare to that kind of thing. You know, my dad was always doing stuff that was cutting edge and like drinking green tea. I know it's not PC to say that girls sometimes go straight because of mommy issues, but to me it holds some truth. You know, I have trauma from the fact that my mom is a suppressive person and didn't support my dad and I on our spiritual journey. I think it gave me some trust issues with women. Some also probably attribute my drastic shift to sexual fluidity. Sexual fluidity means different things for different people. Sometimes it means you were dating a man and then you found the love of your life and she just so happens to be a woman and you're getting married in the fall and you don't need labels. And sometimes it means that you were a repressed gay kid whose dad invited you to join him on the bridge to total freedom, trademark, and either one is just as valid. Female sexuality is especially fluid, I think. You know, depending on the needs of society, it can boil, freeze, or evaporate. Pretty much scientific, I think, at this point. Male sexuality is more solid, like the stainless steel titanium plates L. Ron Hubbard buried beneath the deserts of New Mexico, engraved with his religious texts so we can reprint them in case civilization is destroyed. My friends and my loved ones in the straight community know that though they have lost an official member, they have gained an even more stalwart ally. There is a reason sexual violence and oppression remain central themes of straight art and politics, along with the newer dangers that they face of assimilation. In fact, my parents were in an openly straight relationship growing up, so I witnessed the challenges that they face. While I have some questions for my mom, but as far as I know, at least one of my parents is predominantly heterosexual. I think some people try to stigmatize having straight parents as turning your kids straight, but that is impossible. All kinds of people go through a straight phase for all kinds of reasons, okay, regardless of their upbringing. And there's not some straight agenda or conspiracy to turn everybody straight, especially not in Scientology, because Scientology is not concerned with your sexual proclivities. Scientology's just concerned with bringing everybody on the planet up to higher levels of spiritual achievement. And those higher levels of spiritual achievement just happen to be indisputably heterosexual on the Hubbard chart of human valuation right now, but that's neither here nor there. Remember your I inhabit a physical body phase? We're all going to be shouting to one another across the universe one day. So think about that. I'm going to miss the sense of inclusion I really felt under that far-reaching label of straight. The straight community is so inclusive and diverse. I didn't even question my absence of actual physical attraction towards men or the unnameable void at the center of every romance, you know, or all those topless women that I drew in my high school notebooks to practice figure drawing, since women are just, their bodies are more aesthetic, you know. Scientology is also a religion that has always celebrated the artist. I don't like labels, but if I am asked, I identify most with 1950s repressed lesbian housewife because it gives a wink to my cultural identity. 1950s America is the birthplace of Scientology, and it's said to more or less exactly resemble what our society looked like 75 million years ago at the moment when Xenu rounded up all the Thetans and buried us beneath volcanoes on planet Earth in the Galactic Confederacy. I wouldn't take back my 28 years of experimenting with heterosexuality for anything. I have made so many discoveries about myself, many of them gay. It's like digging up a time capsule in the backyard, but instead of old highlights magazines and a copy of Your Lion King CD from 1995, the time capsule is filled with childhood emotions that were stunted and unresolved psychological issues. And just like Scientology, that knowledge has given me the tools to think more clearly, access new levels of potential, and it's non-denominational. Only difference is that it's free of charge. I'm thinking I'm gone past my time. Thank you for being patient. Oh, George! That man is a spy. How did you find this Zoom meeting, George? I took 2 buses and I paid cash to get up here to the Westchester Community Center Codependence Anonymous meeting. I'm going to have to report you. Hi. I'm of Hubbard, and I'm auditioning for the all-queer Handmaid's Tale themed pop-up, non-exploitative burlesque troupe. Thank you for welcoming me into your community. I'm grateful for the privilege to explore my queer identity through embodied movement. I kept the postcard from your show that you gave me long ago, and now I'm finally here. I just have to lay low for a while until I can prove that homosexuality is just as high on the Hubbard chart of human evaluation as heterosexuality. I may be homeless, rejected by all of my peers, and hunted by a totalitarian church, but at least now I can live authentically because love wins. And when you mess with love, you lose. And we can be together. It's taken years of training to learn to tell the difference between the military voice to skull technology, the implanted hypnotic commands, and my plain old psychic abilities. But love, now that's just something I'll never understand. I think I need a doctor. I think I need a lawyer. I think I got the black Dianetics. Let me tell you a story of no love and no glory. manifest my one true rest. Lead me to the echo chamber where I'll meet my death. And your black Dianetics, black Dianetics, withhold your lies, be hypnotized, and the reactive mind will do the rest. I remember when we first locked eyes, you were playing your gay propaganda music on the subway platform, and I was passing out free postcards to Scientology's free mandatory introduction film, Orientation. If only I had known now what I knew then, that you were a honey trap hired to blackmail me for homosexuality. She used gestures and phrases from my childhood stages and subliminal tactics. Abominable practice. Oh, your black Dianetics. Black Dianetics has left me in a double bind. No, I cannot even recognize my own damn mind. I once heard that you sent a strap-on and a forged lesbian love letter to one of your biggest critics' wives at her job to get her fired. I'm still waiting on a postcard. All my files have been raided. All my dreams, they have faded. What's more illegal, my phone's back door, or the fact that you keep leaving me with wanting more of your black Dianetics? Black Dianetics. I once was good and simple too. Now I'm sorting through the rubble of a world I knew. Now I'm floating through the wreckage of a world I knew. I'm of Hubbard, smaller body. That means I have as much self-determinism as an adult, only in a smaller body. After Sydney recruited me for the org, I'm in 5th grade, she's in 4th. They all clapped for her because she was the youngest person to ever recruit a new member to the Philadelphia org. Then they signed us up to do the communications course together. We were to complete all of the drills and exercises. It's for an adult, but we're both so high-toned and able, we could handle it. That's called twinning when you do a course together. Sydney was a year younger, but I'm not jealous because jealous is not a productive emotion. After Sydney and I completed the communication course, her parents bought her the next level that cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars. But my parents are like, so inhibitive to my spiritual potential that I just had to sign up for the volunteer minister's course. Supervisor?
Yes, oh, Hubbard.
The text states that a being who has attained total cause over matter, energy, space, and time is an operating phaeton. Is it so?
Yes, oh, Hubbard, it is so. What is your question?
My question, Supervisor, is that given the fact that the molecular components of pizza all fall under the category of matter, energy, space, and time. If I were to achieve the level of operating Phaeton, would I be able to make pizza appear out of thin air?
What does it say in the text?
The text does not explicitly say that a being who has attained total cause over matter, energy, space, and time can make pizza appear out of thin air, but the text does not explicitly say that a being who has attained total cause over matter, energy, space, and time cannot make pizza appear out of thin air.
All right. Continue.
You mean it's possible then? If I were to achieve total cause over matter, energy, space, and time when I complete the OT levels, I could make pizza appear out of thin air?
Sure, why not?
Well, then why don't people who have achieved operating Phaeton sit and make food appear with their minds all day?
I don't know.
Well, I want pizza now.
Did you eat before you arrived?
No. I'll eat during the break.
Very good. Be sure to eat a balanced meal before you enter the course room.
All right. Supervisor?
Yes.
The text states that a being on the Hubbard chart of human evaluation corresponds with their emotional tone level in the sexual behavior column.
Yes. What is your question?
Well, my question, Supervisor, is like, even though I'm naturally up at like 4.0 enthusiasm or like cheerful or like sometimes conservatism when I'm feeling a bit dull, you know how you go up and down the tone scale every day according to survival factors diminishing or increasing?
Yes.
So like, sometimes I feel attracted to girls, but like, I hate them. I've never had a crush on one. My mother's like such a bitch, you know, she's never on course. I'm wondering if my tone level goes very, very far down the tone scale for like 5 minutes at 1.1 covert hostility, which is where like gay people are. Could I just feel gay for like 5 minutes if I'm in a bad mood or something?
What does it say in the text?
The text does not explicitly state that you can be gay for 5 minutes according to your emotional tone level. But the text does not explicitly state that you cannot be gay for 5 minutes according to your emotional tone level.
Okay, good. Continue.
A freeloader and a traitor, a joker and degrader, middle class potential trouble source is a thing I shall not be. Make the able more able. Give them data that is stable. It will for you, it's true for you, even irregular sexual. Because you lost doesn't know what power means. Violent sacrifice living on ways and beings. You think you know eternity, you have twice as much. Just that one single lifetime, you immortal fuck. And join the Sea Org, join the Sea Org, join the mother-licking Sea Org. Here, I'll even hold your hand around the pen while you sign it. Well, live your happy little life, you meat stick. I'll see you in the public force room, Division 6, with all the other materialists.
Well, I am just so grateful to the Westchester Community Center for all their resources and for welcoming me into another wonderful meeting. This time, the Internet and Porn Addiction Anonymous group. Of course, no judgment on either category. I feel the need to specify that I'm only here for the internet addiction half. I'm not able to watch porn anymore because all of my devices are surveilled. So that's all right, because that's pushed me to have to reconnect to the porn in my mind and the porn in my heart, which is ultimately what it's really all about at the end of the day. I've also found a very, what I consider to be healthy way of coping with this whole privacy violation scenario that's probably going to last until the end of my life, which is that I write insulting poems in my phone about the spies who follow and surveil me on a regular basis, like George over here, who usually follows me to most of the online support groups I attend. I've got some pretty nasty ones in here about him, and he is forced to read them as he monitors all my screens and apps, and he can't say nothing about it to me, or else he'd be admitting that he's hacked into my phone. Isn't that right, George? George is really good at keeping a straight face. Anyway, I started sharing some of these poems, you know, on the open mic circuit, and I started to even get somewhat of a following. In fact, I'd love to share some of my work with all of you right now, if you don't mind, if there's time. And feel free to sing along, because singing is healing.
The internet is safe and full of friends.
Turn off
a
your
place where you can believe. Every post and like is a memory. Your brain can't tell the difference. But the heart it knows, and the love just grows, and the music keeps on playing. Oh, internet, internet, you're the God that keeps me praying.
Come on, sing along.
The internet is love and a part of you that the world might not accept. That might have died, that you never knew, that lives on the internet. But it won't just live, now it flourishes, and you found others just like you. Oh, internet, internet, You're the single shot that strikes true. The internet sees all and will guide your fate. When you don't have a purpose, it can galvanize the most hopeless youth into full-fledged terrorism. But a terrorist is relative to your political beliefs. Oh, internet, you give every life a meaning. Whoa, 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 The internet is death and will comfort you as your life fades around you. The internet shines brighter still, though the darkness found you. For the word is cruel and shall strike you down, but you'll be lifted higher on the internet, where your consciousness is uploaded from the fire. The internet is you, there's no escape. We all died long ago. Your thoughts and hopes and that book that you wrote are on an algorithm that can duplicate you so good and true, minus all your flaws and demons. Oh, internet, you're the only voice and reason.
I want to take the spotlight off
The
me.
internet will take your pain away, and now you're made of light. All your suffering is so gently erased, so you can be effective in the war to come, and the war will come, and it will be fought within us, using microchips that control the drones, so that we can still have Christmas. Whoa, whoa,
Impulses are probably more informative.
Dear of Hubbard, we loved your boldness and raw performance at our audition. Unfortunately, we cannot offer you a spot in our all-queer Margaret Atwood themed pop-up fair trade non-exploitative strip club. We will be holding auditions for a Downton Abbey themed burlesque troupe later in the year. Sincerely, the Office of Special Affairs Entertainment. Of Ken. You're the best roommate anybody could ever ask for. You've been with me through it all. You're the last memory I have of my terrible mother and father before I left them to join the church. As a child, they told me I was a full-sized Thetan in a smaller body. And now that I'm an adult, I just feel like a smaller Thetan in a full-sized body. How will I ever get my beingness back? I visited the church today off Ken for the first time since they sent me away. And I went to see my one true love. But they weren't on the subway platform playing music. They were passing out Dianetics postcards to Scientology's free mandatory introduction film, Orientation, on the subway platform. That must mean they've joined staff. I tried to speak to them, and the other staff members just pushed me away. But not before they could hand me a postcard with a secret love message inside. My dearest, I must be brief. Your phone is hacked. They listen to everything. Everything. They've declared you an enemy condition. They've spread rumors about you everywhere. You can't get a job. You can't go on a date without being tailed by private investigators. There is a hate website with footage of all the fake job interviews and auditions they've invited you to, including the all-queer Handmaid's Tale themed pop-up burlesque troupe. Your social media posts and email is all intercepted, spoofed, and hacked. In addition to this horrible circumstance, you never joined the Church of Scientology of your own free will to begin with. You were trafficked into the church by an international spy ring using you for a series of operant conditioning experiments based upon the findings of Pavlov surrounding the salivatory glands of dogs in response to bells. I'm very sorry to tell you this, but I cannot keep the truth from you, my love. That's the only thing they cannot destroy, is our love. It is the one thing they can never have. Even if it's only possible in the next life. Included in this postcard, you will find a bomb. It's a very small bomb, but it has the same self-determinism as an adult bomb. I have included diagrams of where to place it at tonight's event. Let us end all this corruption so that we can start fresh when L. Ron Hubbard returns. I will see you in the next life.
Did somebody order a pizza? Oh, the bells!
Oh my gosh! The bomb! The pizza! I made pizza appear with my mind, just as I always dreamed of doing as a child. Just as I asked my supervisor if I would be able to do should I become an operating Thetan. But my parents never had the money to buy the OT courses for me in this lifetime. Why, that must mean that I must have been a Scientologist in the last lifetime. Yes, it's real pizza. I achieved operating Thetan in the last lifetime. I've been an operating Thetan this whole time, and I didn't know it. The power was within me all along.
I am floating in the corner of the ceiling. look down and I see my body. I have achieved knowingness. The spy I fell in love with is a member of the church, dressed as a subway musician in order to reach out to degraded beings who need Scientology. I was never in love with her at all. It was only past life gender confusion. It turns out I'm not gay. I was a man in a past life, and not just any man. I was L. Ron Hubbard, founder of Scientology. L. Ron Hubbard didn't die in 1986. L. Ron Hubbard died in 1985, the year I was born. In my past life as L. Ron Hubbard, I ordered a secret bulletin for executives to pretend I was alive a full year after I dropped my body, so that when I claimed I had returned in this life, I would have to recall the fact in order to prove that I was not a fraud. Of course, I remember it all very well looking back.
Fellow Scientologists, I am here to attest to the level of operating Thetan, but not just operating Thetan. Past life operating Thetan. My OT powers began to surface when the object of my debilitating gay infatuation targeted me with psychological warfare, but I applied my communication drill, bullbait, and outsmarted them. Then I began to consider that I might have psychic powers when I realized they were a spy hired by the church to blackmail me for homosexuality. In order to test this theory, after I was targeted with a staged terrorist attempt in which my mind deflected the bomb from going off and instead caused pizza to appear out of thin air, as I had always postulated as a child in discourse with my supervisor regarding operating Thetan's ability to become total cause over matter, energy, space, and time. I reported to the church and attempted to self-audit in order to test my powers. Upon doing so, I cognited that not only was I not gay, and not only was I experiencing past life gender confusion because I was a man in my previous lifetime, it turns out I was not just any man. I was L. Ron Hubbard, founder of Scientology. I blew from my own church because of a misunderstood word. The only reason a person abandons a course of study is a misunderstood word. For me, that word was gay. I cleared the word gay in the dictionary, and it turns out I'm not gay. I will, however, be reclaiming my role as executive office of source, working alongside the spy originally intended to blackmail me for being gay, in order to locate other blown Scientologists who may be experiencing past life gender confusion or still have money on account from the previous lifetime or need to fulfill their billion-year contract for Scientology's biggest expansion yet.
Well, I remember it all very well. Looking back, it was this lifetime I turned 13. I lived with my downstat mom and dad, but I knew I was an immortal being. We didn't have money for auditing, to say the least. We were hard pressed. Then Mama spent every last penny she had to buy me a handmade dress. Well, Mama washed and combed and curled my hair and tied the bonnet that had come with the dress. But I kept having those crying spells, so I went to the therapist. It was red with wool and trim and it fit me good. And staring back from the looking glass was a handmaid in a big red handmaid's hood. Here's your glove of hover, don't let me down. Here's your glove of hover, don't let me down. You did the things God did to you, so don't let me down. Your daddy's gonna help you move uptown. Well, Mama listened to the therapist on the phone, but the two of them were mortal and weak. And I saw the tears well up in my daddy's eyes as he started to speak. He looked at the glossary and then he looked at me and took a ragged breath. Psychiatrists are using you for a government experiment. He handed me an ethics office slip for an appointment after school. And I shivered as I watched a roach crawl across my basic study manual tools. It finally fell at myself that was talking, asking ethics, what do I do? Or write down your transgressions of Hubbard, because what happens to you? Here's your glove of Hubbard, don't let me down. Here's your glove of Hubbard, don't let me down. Lord, forgive me for what I do. If you want out, well, it's up to you. No, don't let me down. Your daddy's gonna help you move uptown. That was the last time I saw my dad before he gave up on the signs of the mind. Just like my volunteer minister's course warned me, inexplicably just declined. But I started the cycle of cause and effect, and for me there was one way out. Scientologists are the only ones who know what they're talking about. I did what it chose to do, and it needed total certainty. I was going to be at total cause with Dianetics technology. I couldn't see spending the rest of my life as a moral piece of shit. Humans have potential, it's godlike, I'm here to help you achieve it. Here's your glove of hover, don't let me down. Here's your glove of hover, don't let me down. Wasn't long after geometry teacher held me back in math. You studied tech for a summer course and it's just through this. But I used the tools to get shit done despite the haters and pathetic adults. And I became the global leader of a totalitarian new age cult. Now on this earth there's 2% suppressive people who would call me back. Criticize my daddy for putting me through behavioral modification programs. And though I had to worry about nothing but helping you go queer, here to disseminate the stable data that there's no such thing as queer. Here's your glove of hover, don't let me down. Here's your glove of hover, don't let me down.
Amazing. What a great show. Wow. Please support our performer tonight by making a donation at www.planetconnections.org, www.planetconnections.org.